Story 1, wanting me to do a long run just because I didn't bring you proof of asthma like last year? Now we'll all be late. So, this is a story from my primary school. I had asthma pretty much all my life. Every year my teachers wanted the same paper even though they knew me, they knew my conditions and sometimes had to deal with me having asthma attacks during classes. Around 1314 7th grade in our school system we had a year focused on running in PE. Also the PE teacher was our homeroom teacher. She knew I have asthma and kept saying that unless I bring her the paper from doctor like every year before, I'll have to do the runs. My petty revenge came in when we were doing what would be translated as cross-country running. It's 1,500 meters run and even on the best days, that would be hard for me. So, the class begins, and what was usual that it was a double class, meaning it was 90 minutes. We started the jogging warm-up and the teacher split us into 2 groups so we can fit on the jogging track. And unwisely she put me into the second group. First group finished around 55 minutes into the class. Then came time for our group. To my credit, I tried, but I started hyperventilate in first 50 meters and had to slow down to a slow walk. And since I couldn't stop, I walked. Slowly. I could see the annoyance on her face and it just gave me the serotonin to survive the rest of the day. Long story short, when I reached the finish line, it was 20 minutes into the next class and nobody was happy about it, but the teacher had her damn time to fill in the table. And she didn't ask me for the paper again. TLDR teacher forced me to run while knowing I can't due to severe asthma, so I walked the slowest I could and made her and the whole class late. Edit for clarification: the time the class took 90 minutes. The first 15 were mostly warm-up, 10 for organizing us. About 25 minutes for the first run, 10 for writing down the times and a mini water break. The groups were counting each other's rounds and the first group needed time to be able to function, 5 minutes for organizing at the start. At this point it's about 25 minutes till the end of the class. Since our breaks between classes were usually 5 minutes, the teacher let us go early so we could change back to normal clothes. We could go after we finished the run. The circumstances: our whole class was made of troublemakers and bad kids. It was also a hot and sunny day and I personally tend to not hydrate. No shade around, no place to rest. I get that usually people can walk the 1.5 kilometers in the limit, but a person who's hyperventilating, overheating and a dehydrated kid that tends to have joint injuries due to other conditions is not the same as a healthy adult. And I was a teenager who felt wronged and wanted to annoy the shit out of the teacher. Wyvern Jelly says, my nephew has a heart condition. It's in his file that he isn't expected to run for the fitness test or play certain sports. They had a new PE teacher part way through the year. Teacher refused to listen to him and thought he was making it up. He made it most of the way through and then he collapsed. Mill wanted to sue the school. This is also the same teacher who told him to walk it off when he said his arms hurt after falling and ignored H for the rest of the class. Some of his classmates escorted him to the office. Turns out he broke both wrists. Mill now wants teacher fired. My Mill is usually a forgiving person, but where my nephew is concerned she will go on the warpath. Shoe 29 says, I was forced and pushed by a substitute teacher to run the mile. This was in the late 70s during the presidential physical fitness testing. I had all the appropriate paperwork filed. I did explain to said teacher. Several other students tried to explain as she started physically pushing me to run. Thankfully one student ran to get another teacher and to call an ambulance. Yes, I had a full-blown asthma attack. I know the substitute teacher was yelled at by a lot of the other teachers. I'm pretty sure that she was fired. My parent was yelling the word lawsuit. I was hospitalized for 3 days. Fatity7559 says, I have asthma and so do both my kids. When my daughter was in middle school, she had been a gymnast for years. She was fit, but with asthma. Her PE teacher wanted her to get the Presidential Fitness Award, or something similar. Her only obstacle was the mile run within some time limit. He had her inhaler on him, in her view, as he ran beside her the entire way. Cheering her on. Told her multiple times to stop if she needed her medication. Kept cheering her on. Soon, the other kids that had finished were also cheering her on. She made it. They were both rather proud of her accomplishment. Story 2, Goodwill Karen unknowingly explodes on manager, gets banned from store. I've been working as a Goodwill donation attendant for almost 4 years now. I've seen my fair share of entitled bitches at work. But this one was too good not to share. So it's Labor Day weekend, and of course, we're getting slammed with oversized donations from a parade of customers. We're understaffed, it's only me and another worker in the back, we'll call her Jenny. The two of us are barely keeping up against the customers. Anyways, I lean outside to tell the woman waiting that I'll be with her in a minute, but as I'm doing so, another woman, Karen, marches up to the door, shoves the other woman out of the way, and tosses a dirty vacuum at my feet before walking off. Karen's car was at the back of the line. Our rules state that for customer safety and for our convenience, every customer must wait their turn, and they cannot dump their donations on the ground and leave. I tell the Karen that she can't do that and that she's breaking the rules, but she just ignores me as if I'm not even there. Feeling defeated, I take her dirty and now broken vacuum and toss it in the trash, telling Jenny what just happened. That's when I notice she's returning with more stuff. I step out and once again tell her that she cannot dump her items and that she has to wait her turn like everyone else. She snaps back at me, "Calm down, you little pussy. I don't care about your rules. I'm gonna dump my shit here and you can't do a thing about it." She marches back to her car to get another load of stuff. While this is all going down, her husband is standing in the second lane, staring me down menacingly. He looked as if he was ready to attack me at any moment, possibly trying to threaten me so his precious Karen can do whatever she wants. I walk back in with Karen's donations, which were all unsellable BTW, feeling angry. Jenny witnessed Karen's outburst this time, and she's not having it. The nice lady I was helping has second-hand embarrassment. Then, right on cue, the Wicked Witch of the West marches back with her third and final load of junk. I try again to tell her that she can't do this, but this time, she just ignores me completely, shoves the nice lady out of the way again, and enters the production area, which is employees only, where she comes face to face with Jenny. Jenny tells her, "Ma'am, you can't come in here." And Karen goes ballistic. She throws her trash at Jenny and says, "This is fucking Goodwill. I'm giving you free shit, aren't I? Fuck off." Before stomping out of the building. When Karen tries to leave, 2 more cars pull up in the line behind her, trapping her in the line. Karen is absolutely seething at this point, comes out of her car over to me and barks, "Go get your manager. I'm going to fucking get you fired." I smugly grin from ear to ear and reply, "Oh, you mean that manager? The one you just told to fuck off?" Plot twist. Jenny is the manager. Karen goes as white as a sheet, huffs, and sheepishly walks back to her car, where she awkwardly has to wait in line. Just long enough for the security cams to get her license plates. So yeah, she's permanently banned from our store now. TLDR, Karen cuts in line and illegally dumps her donations on the ground at Goodwill, tells my manager to fuck off and throws trash at her, gets banned from the store. Catacombs 3 says, "I hope you can get her fined for dumping rubbish on private property." Some people think charity shops are a cheap way to get rid of household junk that they would otherwise have to pay for the tip. View Television 3921 says, "It would have been nice if you got her for dumping trash and trespassing." Strawberry Guava says, "It's interesting that Goodwill is where she chose to flex." Story 3, Just make the damn coffee. A million years ago at my first office job, I successfully made the stipulation that I would not make coffee for the office. I explained that I didn't drink coffee, and had no clue how to make it. It was 2 attorneys and myself in the office, and they both agreed that this was fair. Everything was fine for a couple of weeks until one of them was having a big deal meeting with opposing counsel and their client. He told me to make a pot of coffee. I reminded him that I didn't make coffee because I didn't know how. He yelled at me to just make the damn coffee. "Okay, sir." I figured there would be instructions on the coffee can, and would just figure it out. Nope. The coffee was in a decorative canister with a spoon. Okay. 10-cup pot, seemed reasonable that I would need 10 spoons of coffee. He poured a cup just before the people he was meeting with arrived, and promptly spit it out. He started yelling at me for being defiant, which got the attention of the other attorney. The second attorney reminded him that I didn't know how to make coffee, and asked if the first attorney had given me any instructions. I chimed up that I had been yelled at to just make the damn coffee. Second attorney told the first attorney he deserved what he got and to go make his own damn coffee. Later in the day, I asked the second attorney if I needed to learn how to make coffee. He told me there was no reason for me to, and promised it would never come up again. I was never asked to make coffee again the entire time that I worked there. Saving Sensitive 3796 says, "The first time I was asked to make coffee and I didn't even drink coffee at the time. I was the only female in the office and the men insisted I make it. So I did. They got a whole carafe of hot water. Was never asked again." Lolthedar Koenig says, "The first time I made coffee I filled the filter to the top. I heard that it could etch concrete." Empty Themag says, "I work in an aircraft maintenance hangar. Probably 90 of the guys I work with are coffee fanatics. I've been asked to make coffee when the pot is very low. I always answer I've never drank coffee. I don't make coffee. Same with picking up cigarette butts out front of the hangar. Been tasked by the hangar foreman a few times to pick up cigarette butts. I tell him I've never smoked. I will not pick up someone else's butts. You know who the smokers are. Get them to police up after themselves. It gets forgotten about. He never has his smoker buddies clean up after themselves. Thanks for watching. I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.